Board of Education business meeting. Today is April 16th, 2025. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Gibson.
Here.
Mr. DeLong.
Here.
Mrs. Miller.
Here.
Mr. Mundy.
Here.
Mrs. Shockley.
Here.
All right, would you please stand for the pledge of allegiance? How's that? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That sounds a lot nicer when it's a full room of people saying it, other than just a few of us. All right, I'm going to get started with a few introductions, and then we'll get moving. So I'll start with the table over here. We have Jack Haig, our business manager. We have Ms. Julie Jones, our curriculum director. We have Ms. Becky Yerman. She is our director of student services. We have Devin Berry, our director of human resources. If we move on around, well, Daniela, you're the only one. I think the other two are performing tonight, so we will let Kristen and Haley, we'll let them go this time for introductions. So I guess you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Daniela Rodriguez Vasquez, and I'm a freshman at the high school.
Perfect. And I'm sure you guys can introduce yourselves in a little bit later on. We got Miss Lori Gibson. She is one of our board members. We have Dr. Andrea Townsend, our superintendent. I'm Nate Mundy. I'm also a board member. We got Miss, this is why I do this, Leslie Miller, our vice president of the board. John Llewellyn, another board member. Angie Shockley, our fifth board member there, our newest one. And then we got Ryan Sloan, our treasurer. So we got a full staff today. It's always good to see you. All right, we're moving on to number 5. It is recommended that the agenda for April 16, 2025 meeting be adopted as presented. And we do have an agenda, correct?
We do. We have to add to item number 12F, add to item number 12G, add to item number 13A, add new item number 22, add new item number 23, and add new item number 24.
So moved.
Roll call.
Mrs. Gibson.
Yes.
Mr. DeLong.
Yes.
Mrs. Miller.
Yes.
Mr. Mundy.
Yes.
Mrs. Shockley.
Yes.
All right, we don't have any comments relating to public agenda items, so we'll move right along to number 7, our communication update. Denise?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I want to remind everyone the ways you can find out what's happening in the school district. Our website, westcarrolltonschools.com, Facebook, West Carrollton City Schools, X at WC City Schools, Instagram at WC_City Schools. Also, parents and guardians will be getting messages from schools, from Dr. Townsend once a week. So please do pay attention to those. Lots of good information to come in those newsletters. I want to remind everyone, April dates to know. No school April 21st. But April is also World Autism Acceptance Month, and it is Month of the Military Child. I want to congratulate Casey Hancock, who is an A-list teacher inductee. She's going to be honored by the Montgomery County ESC in May, and you can find out more about that story at westcarrolltonschools.com. But we are very proud of her. Also, we are very proud of our Ohio Buckeye girls and boys state representatives. Should be state delegates, I think is the actual correct verbiage. I might have messed up a little bit, but you can find out more about these kids also in the news section at westcarrolltonschools.com. You can also find out what they do during the Ohio Buckeye State events. They are 2 separate events, and one is held at Bowling Green University and one is held at Miami University. It's a week-long event in the summer. Great experience for our kids. Mean Girls. Gee, I think there are some mean girls in the room. Performances, and I'm sure Mr. Coleman will say this later too. Performances will be in the high school Geiler Auditorium Friday, April 25th at 7 p.m. Saturday, April 26th at 7 p.m., and Sunday, April 27th at 2 p.m. Again, WestCarrolltonSchools.com, just look for the Mean Girls flyer, click on that, and it will take you directly to a link where you can purchase your ticket. I suggest that you do so. I was looking at it today. There's a lot of seats that are already taken, so you want to get a good one. So do look at that site. Something else on WestCarrolltonSchools.com, Art Fest is coming May 2nd. That will be from 5 to 8 p.m. at the high school. A lot of the student art will be for sale, auction. Those proceeds are going to go to student scholarships for the arts, including the Pam Jacobs Creative Spark Scholarship. And on our social media, keep watching for student spotlights, senior spotlights. We're doing more and more as we get closer to the end of the year. I don't know, did anybody hear about the governor coming? It was kind of a big deal for Schnell. The governor came, and this was all to celebrate reading, and it was so exciting. We put a post on our social media. First Lady DeWine, she said, "Thank you for having us. It was wonderful meeting everyone. It was so nice to have her comments and to get those good reviews." There's a few more pictures as they went through the school. And we also found out a few interesting things about Governor DeWine. And I'm sorry, the volume is probably bad, but First Lady DeWine, she was reading a book to the kids. They stopped by to visit Sammy the therapy dog, told us that they once had a chocolate lab themselves. This is my favorite thing that happened all day. There we go. I think 8 children, 28 grandchildren, 1 great-grandchild, hugging one more didn't make a difference.
Celebrate what Schnell Elementary School is doing, and what the faculty here is doing, the leadership is doing, and the kids are doing. We're very proud.
So that was really exciting. Of course, the kids, I don't know what's more exciting for the kids, the governor's visit or the firefighters serving lunch for them. I'm guessing, being kids, firefighters. Now, when we ask them maybe 10, 15 years from now, it could be a reverse answer, but both things were very exciting to happen. Firefighters came to serve lunch at Schnell, and they came at Russell, and it's just one of the great things that we do to coordinate, and we just love when the firefighters come out. And I see Chief Burnett in the room, and just so you know, Chief Burnett is an alumni. So be safe, be respectful, be responsible, be kind. And that is all I had this evening. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, of course, we mentioned you already, and our next one is presentations. So if you're ready,
Yes, sir.
we'll have you come on up and talk about the fire and EMS levels. Good to see you, Chief.
Well, good evening, members of the school board, and a lot of familiar faces here, so including some family members here tonight. So, I did want to talk about the fire levy. It is a 5-year renewable levy, and back in 2000, we asked the citizens to vote on a 3.9 mil levy, and so we're asking again to renew that levy. It's no new taxes, so that's always a good thing. So it generates about 7.
Good evening, thank you. My name is Brian Coleman. I'm the vocal music director at the high school and the middle school and the intermediate school. Our musical this year is Mean Girls the Musical, and I was updating my bio today for the program, and this is my 37th musical at West Carrollton High School as either a student performer or as a teacher. Mean Girls is based on the popular Tina Fey movie, and it is definitely rated PG, so this is not one for the young kids, but I think all of our middle school students and certainly our high school age students will really enjoy it, and of course all the parents who maybe remember the original movie. As Ms. Corbett said, our performances are April 25th and 26th at 7 p.m., April 27th at 2 p.m. I believe our Friday night show is about halfway sold out, maybe even a little beyond that. Tickets are $10 for students and senior citizens and $12 for adults at pre-sale. We will also be selling tickets at the door the night of the show, and all tickets at the door are $13. Tonight we're going to be performing a brief scene for you from the show. This is not the opening number, but it is one of the opening scenes where we meet all of the characters. Katie Heron, our heroine, has just moved to the North Shore High School School District from Africa because of a job relocation that her parents had. And this is two of the students from the Student Welcome Committee who are showing her around the high school, helping her figure out what her group of people to hang out with will be.
Well, Caddy, as junior co-chair of the Student Activities Committee and as Art Freak, we volunteer to be your starter companions at North Shore until you find your place at North Shore.
Okay, so what he's actually saying is, we'll help you, Caddy.
Thank you so much, but it's Katie.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna call you Caddy.
When did you move here?
3 days ago.
Why'd you stop being homeschooled?
I wanted to get socialized.
Well, you'll get socialized, all right? A little slice like you. My mom used to tell me, baby girl, don't ever eat lunch on the job.
Your mom called you baby girl?
Singing. So what if all the ducklings think you're ugly? It's because they never seen a swan. It takes all kind of people who need people, so find people you can dare. Well, find your group, your herd, your flock. Take a walk and answer my small questionnaire, which I'll sing to you. Where do you belong? Where do you belong? Where do you belong? Where do you belong? We'll be judged on sight and made to fit. So find a click and stick with it. Say, where do you belong? Oh, take a walk with me to the cafeteria, shall we? I'll show you the world as I see it. Varsity jocks and JV jocks will throw you in the locker if you say hello. The rich stoners hate the gangster whites, though they're all smoking the same oregano. Here's the sexually active band geeks. I got 2 words for you, embouchure and heel. And if you like blowing and mark, this is the group for you. Back me up, show choir. Be judged on sight and made to fit. So find a click and stick with it. Say, where do you belong? There's girls that eat their feelings and girls that don't eat. They're not a lifetime movie, but they might be.
Debating! Dance team!
They like to compete, but neither team will take me, so they can fight me.
Well, who's this?
Darling, that's the math.
Cool!
Joining them is social suicide. It's all college applications and Doctor Who quotations. They wear their awkwardness with stubborn pride. Where do you belong? Where do you belong? You'll be judged on sight, voted in or out, 'cause that's what it's all about. Where do you belong? But at this table, why it's Janice and Damien too. We're not exactly joiners, but we'll be good friends to you. And our friendship means you can skip the geeks and the freaks and repeating too soon. The strivers and survivors just waiting for June. The junior achievers, the Christian believers, the tall growling wallflowers fending off sleepers. Forget this fuss and solve it thus. Just come to lunch and sit with us.
Okay.
protection with possessed and helping hands that also just say here's where you belong. Say here.
Okay, I'm staying.
Here's where you'll be. Hey, Katie, this is where you belong. Here's where you belong.
Whoa. Who's at that table over there?
Don't look at them, just don't. Cause it's the shiny vacant heart.
They play their little mind games all around the schoolyard.
They might insult your clothing or make fun of your name.
Like they mocked Miss Moorcock till she burst into flames.
And Miss Moorcock was a teacher.
That's Virginia George. Clean beat, always dressed up, always been sprinkling clean. We should work for her, then die. My name is Regina George, and I am a massive deal. Fear me, love me, stand and stare at me.
And these are real.
I've got money and looks. I am like drunk with power. This whole school humps my leg like a chihuahua. I'm the prettiest poison you've ever seen. All the filters you use look just like me. My name is Regina George, and I am a massive deal. I don't care who you are. I don't care how you feel.
That's Gretchen Wiener. She knows everything about everybody. That's why her hair is so big. It's full of secrets.
Yes, Regina, no Regina. Every waking hour, I spend making sure Regina George can stay in power. Regina is the sun, then I'm a disco ball, 'cause I'm just as bright as fun. If you've had alcohol, I worm your secrets out of you and bring them to my master. Then I watch Regina make your life a big disaster.
Disaster.
Regina is the queen, but I'm the head of worker pieces. I am seated at her right hand like Bishop says Jesus.
That's Karen Smith, the dumbest person you will ever meet.
I hope saw her put a D in the word orange.
My name is Karen, my hair is shiny, my teeth are perfect, my skirt is tiny, it barely covers my pretty hiney. My name is Karen, I may not be smart. That's it.
No, really, that's it. If you want to see any more, you're going to have to come back next weekend on the 25th, 26th, or 27th, and we'd love to see you there. It's going to be a great show. Wow.
guys ready? We're good? All right. All right, Ryan. All you. What's a pride?
Thank you. Good evening. Every April we'll do so like a little financial reports, different than the 5-year forecast that we look at. Second meeting in May. Just some different and general financial information. So this first slide, looking at the numbers from the 23-24 state report card, and what it's saying is that it has the average expenditures per equivalent pupil, which they account for the fact that there's a different calculation for total expenditures per pupil, but what this does, it takes into account that like when you have kids with special needs, it accounts for the fact that it's more expensive to educate those kids. So, so that's what it means by equivalent pupil. So what this is saying is that you can see that we are about $800 or $900 less than the state average in terms of the expenditures per pupil, and we're right in line with Vandalia and Mad River, two districts in the county that are similar to us in size. And over on the right side, what this is saying is that when the state looks at the 104 districts across the state that we're in terms of enrollment between 25 and 5,000, and the percent of money that we spend on instruction, so we are 8th out of 104 at 73%. So that is just confirming that we're doing a good job of allocating a large percent of our budget to the classroom. This slide is just regarding our building projects that started back in November of 19 when the community approved the 5.6 mil bond issue. As we know, we opened the new PK1 and the new 5.6 in August of 22, and we have the new 2.4 opening this coming August, and then the new 7.12 out by I-75 will be opening in August of 26. The bond issue was passed in 2019, so then the millage kicked in 2020 at 5.6 mils, and the county has done a couple property updates in 2021 and 2024. So every time that has happened, so we get in contact with Montgomery County regarding the millage, and because we only want to generate the amount that's required to meet our annual debt payment. So what this is saying is that over the course of these 5 years, we reduced the millage from 5.6 down to 3.45 here in 2025. So the bond millage is about 40% lower than when we originally passed it. So if property values keep increasing in the future, then we will keep reducing the 3.45 mils. This is regarding our general fund. So our general fund, this is our revenue, estimated revenue for this current year. Our estimated revenue is $51.6 million, and so this is saying that state funding is $25.7 million of that 51.6. So state funding is about 50% of our revenue. So what happens in this upcoming state budget for FY26 and FY27 is very important to us. Taxes, from both residents and business is about 20 million, or about 38%. The bottom half is saying that, so back around a couple months ago, the governor came out with his version of the budget for the next 2 years, and next year is FY26. So his version had us getting a small increase of 176,000, but then a 224,000 reduction the following year. And then the House just last week passed their version of the budget, and it's not any better, 139,000 and then a 48,000 decrease. So, I mean, bottom line, both versions of these budgets are making us think that we're going to be flat funded for next school year. And so when your state funding is 50% of your revenues, and then taxes, or taxes basically only go up when the community says, approves a levy. So that's just the unfortunate part of school funding in the state of Ohio, is that if the state's not giving you more money and you don't have a levy on the ballot, then your revenue is pretty flat in the future as you look forward, and that leads to deficit spending, because as we know, 80 to 85% of a budget is personnel costs, and those costs do not stay flat like our revenue does. Just general history of our levies. Regarding operating levy, we passed in 2000, 03, 07, and 2016. So it's been 9 years since we've passed an operating levy, and we're trying to defer that operating levy for as long as we can. So we've done a good job of managing our operating funds for the last 9 years. We did stay off the ballot. We did have a couple unsuccessful attempts between 07 and 16, but we survived and managed our money well from 07 through 16, and here we are 9 years later, and we're trying to, as I mentioned, we're trying to defer that as long as we can. The bond issue was passed in 2019, so it has been 6 years since the taxpayers have had a tax increase regarding a levy that we put on the ballot. This is just a big, just a snapshot of fiscal 2000 out through fiscal 29. And what this is showing is that, so the yellow lines just means those are years where our revenues exceeded our expenses. So like from fiscal 01 through fiscal 10, our revenues exceeded our expenses, and then we had deficit spending, which means our expenses exceeded our revenues in fiscal 11 through fiscal 16, and then we passed that levy in fiscal 16, and then that improved our financial situation, so we had surpluses, and then we also got federal stimulus money from FY21 through FY24, so we had 9 straight years of having our budget was in balance, or the revenues exceeded the expenses. But as we look forward to the next couple of years, we are looking at projected deficit spending, and as I mentioned, we shouldn't be expecting any help from the state to help us balance our budget. So it'll be upon us to control our expenses as we move forward. And this last slide is, so this is actually from the 22-23 school year. We don't have our certificate from 23-24 yet, but this is just from the state auditor's office saying that we had a clean audit for 22-23. We did have a clean audit for 23-24, as I mentioned. And as I say every year, this is not a treasurer's office award. It's a district award, because the state auditors, they look at food service athletics, they look at a lot of compliance stuff, human resource stuff, enrollment information. So everybody across the district plays a part in our audit, and just proud that we've had clean audits the last couple of years, and it's our intention to keep that the same as we move forward. That is it. Anybody have any questions? Otherwise, talk curriculum.
Thank you, Ryan. Yeah, that was great. Great update. All right, moving along. Ms. Julie Jones on curriculum.
Let's keep this party going with a lot of math here. These presentations. Good evening. I have with me Morgan Seiler. She is one of our coaches. She is our elementary math coach, and so she was certainly part of this adoption process, and did a lot of work with her and Michael Scott, our secondary math coach. So I want to give you an overview of the adoption process. We had a great year in going through this. I felt that it was very successful, a lot of good feedback from teachers. So we started the year with presentations from 5 different companies. 3 of them are on the screen. We chose an adoption team of about 32 team members across core math content, and special ed, EL teachers, and we put a team together, and so we had an open house, and we invited all of the teachers in the whole district to come and see those 5 options. After seeing those, we took the teacher feedback, we narrowed it down to 3, and then of course 2 were chosen to pilot. And this pilot went all the way through the year. We finished it up March, I think. Okay. So the first pilot started in the fall. The second pilot, and when I say pilot, we had the majority of our secondary teachers trying one of those two, if you look at the grade levels on the screen. And then we had a smaller group of elementary teachers just because there were so many of them, but we had a good team for them, a good number of them to pilot. We also we visited a couple schools and talked to Lakota, Piqua, and Lebanon in our process. Just those are schools that have chosen these products on the screen just to get some feedback on how things were going. You know, the pluses and the minuses. That was very, very helpful. We actually spent half of the day at Lakota at some of the elementary schools observing a wide variety of classrooms. So that was very helpful in our decision. Of course, we used an evaluation tool with some criteria there. And then in March, we had Zoom meetings with all the teachers. I got all of their feedback, their comments, concerns, the positives and negatives, and then we voted. So it was a very thorough process, and my coaches helped keep me on track, and I think overall everybody enjoyed the process. So the evaluation criteria here, these were our categories, and so the teachers voted out of these 8 categories out of a Likert scale from 5 down to 1. So of course we want to make sure that it was aligned to our state standards, that it was user-friendly material, not just for teachers, but it needed to be user-friendly for our students, that it encompassed high academic vocabulary and a lot of academic vocabulary. Of course, we wanted to make sure it had digital access for both student and teacher. Manipulatives, that's a huge, huge component. You know, that fits right along with our math goals of teaching math conceptually and with hands-on materials in a concrete manner, which obviously number 6 was regarding that. Student discourse, making sure students had opportunities to discuss and talk in small groups, not just hear content one way, but rather being able to discuss and show how they learned and problem solving along the way. And then of course differentiation for our special ed students, our at-risk students, and our EL students as well. And then Morgan is going to talk about the rest of the process and some of the features of our curriculum that we chose.
So for K through 1 ECC teachers, you can see out of 5 they chose Carnegie Clear Math. And then for our 2 through 12 teachers, they chose Imagine Learning. We were happy to see the results. As you can kind of see, it seems like most of them agreed. So that's always nice to see that by at least a half a point, and in the ECC's case, a whole point, that they agreed that this was the best curriculum for their school. So that was good to see. Just some details about both of them. So one thing, this will be a 6-year adoption, so it'll go through 2031. For the ECC K through 1 Clear Math for Carnegie, it really fosters a deep understanding and enthusiasm for math, which we think is so important, especially in our younger grades, for them to develop as 5- and 6-year-olds a love and joy for math. So we really like that. Clear Math has a lot of hands-on manipulatives. They're using things every day with their hands, which is so important, especially at those younger age. It has a lot of play-based learning. So every single day they're playing a game. Which is fun. I feel like they don't know they're doing math, but that's okay. They have hands-on games, but they also have a virtual game platform, and it looks like a video game. And I even had a teacher tell me that her kids were asking for Inside Recess to do that instead of play. So I think that speaks for itself. So that's great. Clear Math has a unique structure. It has a teach, pause structure. So they teach new content for 3 days, and then they have a pause day, which they call a re-engagement day. So in those 3 teach days, they are, teachers are collecting data on how kids are doing. And then on that re-engagement day, based on the data, they put those kids into groups. So you might have some kids in group 1, they really weren't getting what we were doing. So on that re-engagement day, I'm gonna pull them and I'm gonna work with them. Or they might be in group 3, where they were knocking it out of the park the whole 3 days, they could teach it to their friends. So I'm gonna put them in a station and they're gonna do something that's a little bit harder, like where I'm pushing them. So we really like that day. Julie and I actually went into a kindergarten class and did one of those days with them, and it was really valuable to see them all doing what they needed to do for their level. It has a lot of collaboration and student discourse. Kids are always working together. Not only is that great for engagement, but also at that age level, I think it's really important for their social emotional skills to learn to work together. So that's great. And then finally for Carnegie, they have really good family support. We know that's huge for our district. Parents and families want to be able to help their kids at home. So this program has the resources that they need to do that. It has videos and activities and games that they can play at home. So I think that's huge. And then for Imagine Learning, that's going to be 2 through 12. It is problem-based with a strong connection to real life. Every single day they're doing problems that have to do with their real life. In second grade they were learning about money, and they were pretending to buy things at the bookstore. So something that they do. So that's really great for them to see that math is there in their life everywhere. It has hands-on manipulatives, but also virtual manipulatives. So with this program, the kids can use manipulatives on their screen, and then the teacher actually can see all of their screens on their screen, and oh, Johnny, that's really cool, and they can put Johnny's up there, and all the kids can see it, so they really like that. It has a really strong emphasis on academic vocabulary, and that's a huge District 1 plan goal for us, so we really like that. For the differentiation, Imagine Learning has adaptation packs. And so with each big topic, they have things that will address gaps in learning. So if I'm a 4th grade teacher and I am doing multi-digit division, they have to be able to subtract with that, and that's a 3rd grade skill. So if I have a kid who hasn't mastered that, this adaptation pack has a lesson in there that I can pull that small group and I can help them with addressing those gaps. So we really like that. They also have really strong collaboration and student discourse. We get a lot of engagement and buy-in, especially with those older kids, if we let them work together. So we like that. And then lastly, with Imagine Learning, they also have that family support that we definitely want for our district with videos and activities, just like Carnegie did too. I've never been a part of an adoption committee that was so passionate about these products. I think they want t-shirts. they're really hyping it up, which is amazing. So we're really excited, and they are too. So I think it'll be really good.
And while you see 2 choices on the screen, we paused here to use that word about how it would flow from 1st grade to 2nd grade. But as you can see, they are both very similar in the way they are created and delivered. So we had some conversations about that, but no issues at all, even though they are coming from 2 different companies. So I think it'll be a good fit and a good transition from grade 1 to 2. So does anyone have any questions?
I have one
Yeah.
small question. I'm interested in this adaptation pack. Is that something that we have done before, or is this a totally new concept that we're kind of bringing in?
Well, as far as scaffolding goes, what we have had is with our iReady testing, our diagnostic, the reports will tell us what we need to do for our kids to scaffold. This actually has the materials to get that done, to do that scaffolding for our students. So, it's one thing just to know that, if they're learning linear equations, but they still have issues with integers, well, that's great information, but this would actually allow us to have materials and resources to help that student, like in a small group, to help support their lack of integer knowledge. So,
Right.
yeah, so
Well,
it's,
that's great.
yeah.
Because I think a lot of times that's where we start losing kids, is not having the tools to really bring them back up to speed if they're missing a piece. And to kind of have those come in, hopefully that'll assist with getting everyone on the same page so everyone can move up together.
And we do have some samples on the back table. That's certainly not all of them, and they were the initial samples that we were given, so they're not really a full curriculum. So those have already been ordered, and all the teachers will have their materials before they leave for summer. And then the student books will come in August. So if you're interested in looking at those, we just need to wait till the real ones come in. So,
Sure.
All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. All right. Now we're moving on to item 9, and that's a discussion over some of our policies. And we do not vote on
start at the bottom where it says review technical updates to policies. We actually have a policy that allows me to make technical updates, but Neola asked me to make sure I just went through the policy numbers to let you know we're making updates, and they're just updating names and policies to current staff. So those policy numbers are 1422, 1623, 1662, 2260, 226001, 2266, 3122, 3123, 3362, 4122, 4123, 4362, and finally 5517. So they're all just minor technical changes. Usually I would just normally do this, but Neola said, no, just let the board know. So the discussion portion of this are the policies we reviewed last month, and some of these are rescinds as well, where policies are being combined. The first one is a technical correction, but it's also revised from when we adopted it in January. So that is bylaw 0131.1. And it's just, it's the same thing. It's streamlining the process for technical corrections. So it's what I just said. So we actually have the policy that is the bylaw, and now there is a revision to that. Bylaw 0171, we are rescinding that. Policy 142201, this is a new drug-free workplace for the administration, and it goes in line with policy 312201 and 412201. Policy 1550 is aligning our retirement with STRS. As you know, everybody is able to retire right now for the next few years at 33 years. So it's aligning STRS. We are rescinding policy 226002. Policy 2271 is College Credit Plus. It's being revised to align with provisions in Senate Bill 104, which was effective February 25th. And this is where we have to have 2 College Credit Plus meetings per year, one for each semester, which the principals are aware of. The first one must be by November 1st for second semester. Policy 2340, field and other district-sponsored trips. We already do this, but this is overnight accommodation restrictions based on Senate Bill 104, effective February 25th of 2025. We have room assignments already, and we do not allow them to be changed. Policy 243002 and 2431. This has to do with STEM schools and community schools and interscholastic athletics. This allows students who attend those schools to participate in our athletics if they do not have them, and they have to also attend the mandatory informational meeting. Policy 5113, thank you, interdistrict open enrollment. This allows our parents who have students or they're in the armed forces to stay open enrolled with us if they get deployed, which is great. Policy 5120, this is a revision for language to coincide with the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce. Policy 5131, transfer students. This is something, it's a correction to a policy we adopted in January relating to House Bill 147 and athletic eligibility as opposed to an academic transfer, and this has to do with how we report the student to Ohio High School Athletic Association and information that we receive from the families. Policy 5223, release for religious time. This relates to House Bill 8, and it goes into, well, went into effect April 9th. I've already met with LifeWise, so we've already started the process, and so they're hiring a director. And once that happens, we'll create a schedule. Policy 5330, use of medications. It reflects specific provisions for House Bill 70 and House Bill 206. Both of those are in effect March 20th and April 9th. And we want to make sure we've already done all of our staff training for this. This is the one I think I brought up last time, sunburn. Policy 5350, student health and well-being and suicide prevention. This relates to House Bill 33, and not only do we have the training for this for staff and students, we also have to have numbers posted on our website. They're already on there. Policy 5460, graduation requirements. There's been additional diploma seals that have been added to the student options. Policy 5610. This is related to House Bill 206, effective April 9th, and it just allows us to expel students for more than 180 days. Policy 5751, parental status of students. This relates to the latest legislation that we provide accommodations for our students who are pregnant and they have parental rights. Policy 578001, this is the Parent Bill of Rights related to House Bill 8. It's in effect April 9th, and it requires us to adopt a policy by July 1 to enact the Parent Bill of Rights related to student health and well-being and instructional materials with sexual content. And we must allow parents to submit concerns in writing, and we need to address them, which we currently give alternative assignments. Policy 6151, insufficient fund checks. This one we charge $3 one time. Policy 7421, restrooms, locker rooms, shower rooms, and changing rooms. We have to make sure that all of our rooms mentioned reflect the appropriate label based on Senate Bill 104 for biologically appropriate sex, for locker rooms, restrooms, shower rooms, and changing rooms. And this is a new policy. Policy 744001, video surveillance and electronic monitoring. This is revised, and this will be in our handbooks. We're using smart sensor monitoring technology, and that's pretty much all the new technology that we will have in our schools with cameras, recordings, things like that. Policy 8142, criminal history record check for contracted school services. It requires us to implement House Bill 33 for individuals providing contracted school services and enroll in RAPBAC, which is, we do that now. Policy 8452, the AEDs and CPR. It's a requirement for House Bill 47, effective October of 24. It requires all AEDs to be placed in each school and sports recreation areas under our control. We, at our last QPT day, a lot of us were recertified in both. Policy 8500, food services, related to House Bill 8, providing school lunches to students who leave to go to religious instruction. And that is all I have.
Pretty impressive.
It's a lot. This all came out of lame duck.
I do have one quick question. I don't know if anyone else has any questions. I was just wondering, and I think I might have asked this before, but I cannot remember. When we were talking about CPR training, who does the CPR training?
Kettering did it for us.
Oh, Kettering does. Okay. All right. Well, if there's no other discussion, we'll move right along to item 10 then, which relates to financial items.
Thank you. I asked the board approve items 10A through 10C as presented.
Any discussion? Anything to add, Ryan?
These are the financial reports for 9 months, July 24 through March of 25. Regarding the projected actual, so revenues are a little lower than estimate, but expenses are also a little lower than estimate. So when it's all said and done, when we get to June, hopefully comes out to be like a wash, and we end up pretty close to where we were guessing according to the November 24 forecast. But otherwise, things are in pretty good shape through 9 months.
All right. Move for a vote.
Mr. Llewellyn,
Yes.
Mrs. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Mundy,
Yes.
Mrs. Shockley,
Yes.
Mrs. Gibson.
Yes.
All right, item number 11 deals with the escrow agreements for our buildings.
I ask that the Board of Education approve the 2 building retainage escrow agreements and bank accounts as presented.
So moved. Second.
This is a requirement according to Higher Rise Code and OFCC regarding the 2 different building projects. The specific numbers came from OFCC, and what these dollar amounts are. It's like as we've been going, for example, like if Shook would send us an invoice for $100,000, approximately like 8% would get held back as retainage. So like as those retainage escrow amounts got accumulated, then we got to a certain point, then OFCC said we are at a 50% threshold, so they gave us these $2 amounts. So what we do or did is put these $2 amounts into a separate bank account, and so I mean it's for work that Shook has already done, but the point of it is that a small percent of their contract gets held back, and once the buildings are complete, so a couple months after they're complete, and we've agreed that the building, everything is like all the specifications and all the requirements are met, then that's when we get with OFCC and authorize for these dollar amounts to go to Shook. So it's just a way to hold back a small percent of the project budget, so that Shook completes everything to our satisfaction.
Interesting. Is that all in one lump sum afterwards? Or is that like in payments back to Shook?
Well, the one is for the 2-4 building, so I don't know exactly when this will happen, but obviously we're going to move in there this summer, so
Right.
I assume sometime in the fall, early winter, if Jack and OFCC says that Shook's done everything they've done, then we get with the bank and tell the bank to release the money to Shook, and then they are totally paid in full.
Wow.
And then the 7
Shook withholds this money from their contractors too. So if there's a plumbing issue, they withheld 10% from the or 8% from the plumbers. HVAC they withheld, or roofing they withheld it. So,
So this
it'll
is a
be paid
typical
out.
thing.
It'll be paid out to the contractors through Shook.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Any other discussion? All right, ready for a vote?
Mrs. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Mundy,
Yes.
Mrs. Shockley,
Yes.
Mrs. Gibson,
Yes.
Mr. Llewellyn.
Yes. All right, we got a good list here, personnel items. Devin?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Superintendent recommends that the board approve the list of personnel items 12A through 12J. And on the addendum, 2 additions were made to 12F, those 2 substitutes added, and 12G, where 2 substitute paraprofessionals that have been added.
So moved. Second.
All right, anything you want to add to that, Devin? I see a few retirements.
Yeah, I mean, it's just gonna continue. Jack, did you want to add anything? I think Dr. Townsend spoke to it 33 years, but moving it from 35 to 34 and currently at 33 gave some teachers an opportunity to retire earlier than they had initially planned, and so now it's 29 years would be the earliest that you could retire. So we have teachers have decided to retire in 29. So I'd like to congratulate Chris, who's been here with us for, I'm not quite sure, but probably, I would guess about 17 years. The rest of the, pretty normal. At this time of the year, it's a lot of movement.
I definitely, I did it with Chris, because he was one of my teachers, so I respect for that. All right, if there's no other discussion, we're good for a vote?
Mr. Mundy?
Yes.
Mrs. Shockley?
Yes.
Mrs. Gibson?
Yes.
Mr. Llewellyn?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller?
Yes.
All right, moving along to item number 13, is more personnel items.
So the superintendent recommends that the board approve the listed personnel items 12A through 12B. And on the addendum, as an addition to 12A, there are 3 additional coaches that we need to hire for the board.
So moved.
Second.
All right, anything you would like to add? Debbie?
No.
Move on to the vote.
Mrs. Shockley?
Yes.
Mrs. Gibson?
Yes.
Mr. Llewellyn?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller?
Abstain.
Mr. Mundy?
Yes. All right, moving right along to item number 14, which is another personnel item.
The superintendent recommends that the board approve the listed personnel item.
So moved.
Second.
Unfortunately, I think listening to Ryan and continuing to be fiscally responsible, sometimes we have to do things that are difficult but necessary for the solvency of the district.
All right, we'll move to the vote then.
Mrs. Gibson?
Yes.
Mr. Llewellyn?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Mundy?
Yes.
Mrs. Shockley?
Yes.
All right, item number 15 deals with administrative contracts.
Thank you. I'd like to recommend that the West Carrollton Board of Education grant an administrative contract for the following administrators for the period of time indicated.
So moved. Second.
Anything you'd like to add?
I would like to share something about this. I just want to appreciate Dr. Townsend. Before I started on the board, these contracts were bigger than this. I really appreciate your flexibility, and I want everybody to know that everybody on this list that I see here, I think there's 8, if I can count right. My Georgia math is right. And we appreciate all these folks, everybody who commits to be here. I know that in other districts, there may be 5-year contracts extended to staff that are not just superintendents and treasurers, and that's their prerogative. But whether your contract's 2 years or 3 years or 5, I just want you to know you certainly have you're going to have, as you hear in a moment, our support. So I just want to appreciate you for doing this, because it wasn't easy. It isn't done everywhere like this, but I certainly appreciate our staff and the folks who have been, most of these folks have been here with us for a while, so certainly appreciate them. Just want to say that.
That's well said.
Thank you.
Very well said. Any other discussion? Okay, we'll move on to a vote then.
Mr. Llewellyn?
Yes.
Mrs. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Mundy?
Yes.
Mrs. Shockley?
Yes.
Mrs. Gibson?
Yes.
All right, item number 16, also is administrative personnel items.
Yes. Thank you. I'd like to recommend that the board approve the administrative salary schedule for the 25-26 year as presented, and place the following administrative personnel in the following positions and in the following steps effective August 1st, 2025.
So moved. Second.
Anything you'd like to?
Nope, I'm happy to have everybody here that I have.
Confident in your work, I like it. Anyone else? Good? All right, we'll move on to a vote.
Mrs. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Mundy?
Yes.
Mrs. Shockley?
Yes.
Mrs. Gibson?
Yes.
Mr. Llewellyn?
Yes.
All right, item number 17, these might look familiar. about our curriculum.
Yes, the superintendent recommends that the board approve the adoption of the following: Carnegie Math for grades K and 1, and Imagine Learning for grades 2 through 12.
So moved. Second.
I mean, I know you talked a lot about it earlier. Anything else?
No need to explain further.
All right, we'll move to a vote then.
Mr. Mundy,
Yes.
Mr. Shockley,
Yes.
Mrs. Gibson,
Yes.
Mr. Llewellyn,
Yes.
Mrs. Miller.
Yes.
All right, item number 18 deals with some moving services. Jack?
Yep, thank you. Yeah, the superintendent recommends that the board approve as presented the contract agreement with Plains Moving and Storage of Dayton for moving services.
So moved. Second.
And this is coming.
This is coming June 2nd, 3rd, and
Yeah,
4th.
it's
We will be
coming up
moving
soon.
staff from Snell and Russell over to the new elementary school. And as I say, agreement to have Plains Moving do that, a lot of that work for us. Our guys will do a lot, some of the work, all the technology stuff we're moving ourselves, but we'll have them move everything else. So it's a big undertaking. There's a lot of people involved to make sure, because we got a lot of parts, and make sure we get everything over where it belongs, so.
And we've worked with this company before, and
Yep.
it seems like they've done a great job.
Yeah, 5 years ago, they did a lot of moves then, because we had a lot of pieces going to a lot of different buildings then, so, or 3 years ago, so.
Good reputation. All right, any other discussion? Okay, we'll move right along to the vote.
Mr. Shockley,
Yes.
Mrs. Gibson,
Yes.
Mr. Llewellyn,
Yes.
Mrs. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Mundy.
Yes. All right, item number 19 deals with the agreement on boundless. Ms. Becky?
Sure. The superintendent recommends the board approve as presented the extended school year service agreement with I Am Boundless with respect to the education program for a student for the period beginning June 2nd, 2025 through August 1st, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
Anything you'd like to add?
Nope, this is just a continuation of a contract for a student who requires some extended school year.
All right. We'll move along for a vote then.
Mrs. Gibson,
Yes.
Mr. Llewellyn,
Yes.
Mrs. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Mundy,
Yes.
Mr. Shockley.
Yes.
All right, we had the discussion earlier, but item number 20 deals with the actual voting of these policies.
Right. Motion and a second, that the board adopts as presented the proposed policies of the West Carrollton Board of Education. I can read all the numbers again.
So moved. Second.
I don't think there's anything
No.
else to add
We
either,
don't
so
need to do that.
we'll move right to a vote then.
Mr. Llewellyn,
Yes.
Mrs. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Mundy,
Yes.
Mrs. Shockley,
Yes.
Mrs. Gibson.
Yes.
All right, item number 21 is something I have to read, so just hang tight as I go through this. I'm going to need a motion in a second that the West Carrollton School Board of Education authorize and directs the treasurer to place a notice in the Dayton Daily News and on the district's website April 17th, 2025, which reads substantially as follows. It's a public notice. The West Carrollton City School District Board of Education hereby gives public notice in accordance with section 353 of the Ohio Revised Code that David White, who is currently employed by the Board of Education as principal of West Carrollton High School, will be retiring and seeking reemployment with the West Carrollton City School District in the same position following his service retirement. The Board of Education will hold a public meeting on this issue of reemploying the above named person at a meeting to be held on June 18th, 2025 at 5:30 p.m. at the Board of Education located at 430 East Pease Avenue in West Carrollton, Ohio 45449.
So moved.
Second.
All right. I got nothing to add.
Just to note that it's a special meeting. It's a special date.
Right. Yep. Okay. Any other discussion over here? All right. Frank?
Mrs. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Mundy,
Yes.
Mr. Shockley,
Yes.
Mrs. Gibson,
Yes.
Mr. Llewellyn.
Yes.
All right. Moving on to our addendum, which has item number 22, which deals with the West Carrollton Education Association. Deb?
Let me requesting a motion and a second that West Carrollton Board of Education approve as presented the memorandums of understanding between the West Carrollton Education Association and the Board of Education of West Carrollton City School District regarding wages, benefits, and retirement incentives.
So moved. Second.
Anything you'd like to add, Devin? or-
I'd say, I really do appreciate WCEA and the relationship that we have formed over the years. I think the respect is mutual. The past district, really hostile. I haven't had those hostile experiences here over the past 12 years. I think we discuss things professionally, and I appreciate their cooperation on this one. So, and thank you to the board as well.
Nothing better than a shared vision, that's for sure. All right, any other discussion? We'll move on for a vote.
Mr. Mundy,
Yes.
Mrs. Shopton,
Yes.
Mrs. Gibson,
Yes.
Mr. Llewellyn,
Yes.
Mrs. Miller,
Yes.
Okay. Item number 23 is the same thing, but with our classified staff. Jack?
Yes, thank you. I'd ask for a motion and a second that the West Carrollton Board of Education approve as presented the memorandum of understanding between the West Carrollton Classified Education Association and the Board of Education of the West Carrollton School District regarding wages and benefits.
So moved.
Second.
Jack, do you want to?
Again, great relationship with Classified Union, worked together, for years. I think it's a really fair agreement for them, and it's just goes along. It was a very simple and easy negotiation on that. So.
Good to hear. All right, we'll move on for a vote then.
Mrs. Shopton,
Yes.
Mrs. Gibson,
Yes.
Mr. Llewellyn,
Yes.
Mrs. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Mundy.
Yes. All right, last item to vote on at least is for the termination of a contract. Devin?
I'm reading
You want me
this
to
one.
read it down library?
I had to read the other one on the phone too. I'm requesting a motion and a second that the West Carrollton Board of Education approve as presented the recommendation to initiate the termination of an employment contract.
So moved.
Anyone?
Second.
Is there anything that you'd like to add?
I would say this is my 10th year doing this job, and I've looked over the records of my predecessor. And this isn't something that occurs very frequently or for requests that we've made to the board. So in my 10 years, this is the first request that has been made to the board for such an action involving teaching.
And then we would have to have another vote on this later on to complete this, right? So this is not 100% like, we have to do another vote later on. Okay. We getting motion for anything?
Yes.
Okay. All right, and I guess it's up for a vote.
Mrs. Gibson,
Yes.
Mr. Llewellyn,
Yes.
Mrs. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Mundy,
Yes.
Mrs. Shopton.
Yes.
All right. So we're gonna be moving on to our report. Is there much in the student rep report that you guys want to talk about?
There's not much, just that the EOC test is taking place. It's been taking place since last week. And that the prom theme is At Last I See the Light, and it's May 3rd.
May 3rd.
May 3rd. And it's the day after Art Fest.
Danielle, I have a question.
Yes.
About the closet at the high school, and I've been asked a couple of times about prom dress donations. Are anybody donating prom dresses from maybe students who used to attend school?
I am not aware that there has been a prom donation. That is more of a Christian category.
Okay. I know how to reach her too, so I'll ask her about it. But I was asked a couple of times by moms whose daughters don't attend school anymore if there was a need for prom dress donations.
Wow. I mean, that would probably be a great donation.
I know it's
Because
coming
those are
up, so
expensive.
May 3rd, it'll be here soon.
Yeah. Those are not cheap at all, so. it's always good to hear the community coming together and trying to help out any way possible.
Do you want to, Daniela, do you want to go into the contract?
With application?
Yeah, the application.
I'm gonna share with Daniela, and she's gonna share with the other student reps and principals. We updated the application for student reps for the 25-26 school year. And we're going to have them distribute that and start plugging that at the schools to get applicants for fall. And the deadline to apply will be, Ms. Babs here, Ms. Carlisle's here, so she'll be wanting to hear this probably too, because I know kids reach out to you. May 9th will be the deadline for applying, so that's a few weeks away still, gives students plenty of time to think about whether they want to try this or not. And we do have 2 student reps, Daniela and Haley, who will join us next year, so the vacancy for this is a little smaller than it was last year, but we certainly want to encourage kids both at the high school and middle school to apply. So we're going to get that started this week, and certainly next week in full motion with announcements at both the middle school and high school about the student rep applications. And again, May 9th will be the deadline to apply if you're a student interested in giving this a shot.
This Saturday, we're all meeting in Zoom World for our last meeting with all of the different schools. All the seniors will be invited to speak there. And hopefully we will find out whether we've been approved to present at OSBA in November. So hopefully we will be, and we'll start planning for that. But we already have 2 that will be remaining with us, so they can start brainstorming about how we will present at OSBA. It'll be an exciting experience. It was last time, so.
It was. Big crowd.
Mm-hmm.
Big crowd. I have a question with the application. No grade is off the table. It's
Right.
any. Right.
8th.
Well,
incoming.
incoming freshmen all the way through
Yes.
seniors.
Second graders.
Yeah, second grade.
Oh, that'd be good.
Yeah. We have them right where we want them, I think.
And they'll be with us for a while.
Right.
Yeah. All right.
Daniela is obviously a freshman, and I think she's proof in the pudding that opening this up to 8th graders was a good idea.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. Anything else on the student rep report?
Nope.
All right, well, we'll move on to any committee reports. Does anyone have any committee reports to? Yeah? Oh, that's from.
Okay,
oh,
so remember when I said that I got a tree at Christmas? Here's the tree. This was made at CTC. Is it CTC? It is CTC. Sorry, I'm still the old school where it used to be JVS. Yes, I want to make sure I get the right initials because we're all about initials here. So this was made by the students there. It was designed, it was cut, it was painted, it was assembled, it was all of it. And I would like to present this to someone else. Because it's been in my car since December. And as Daniela pointed out, only 4 months for you to get in here. So, ta-da! It's very heavy. It would make a very good paperweight, yes.
Put it with most of our Christmas stuff. We can-
Perfect, awesome, as long as it's not in my car. And then, so the biggest thing that I got from the last meeting, and I took pictures because there were flying flyers by so quickly that I couldn't keep up. So the Miami Valley Tech Center is offering summer camps. So they have career camps that are being offered in June 2nd through 4th. And these are for students that are entering 8th, 9th, and 10th grades. And it is a registration fee of $75. They have STEM camps, June 9th through 12th. That is $100 registration. They have a robotics summer camp that is in Eaton, and it is a $75 registration fee. And there is a teacher camp, June 2nd through 4th, and this camp is free.
So I have the flyer on my phone, if anyone is interested. Or you can go to this is very small writing, mvctc.com/camps, and to complete registration and get more information. They were also presented with an honorary chapter FFA degree from Jefferson Township. And I have a picture of that too, if anyone's interested to see that. And that's all she wrote.
Nice. Anyone else have any, I have a few legislative updates, not too many. Because a lot of it, I'm not even going to talk about this to save everyone time. Some things to look out for. Senate Bill 156 talks about K-12 grades to provide a success sequence on instruction for abstinence-based curriculum. All these, by the way, are going to be in the House and the Senate Education Committee. I'm not going to talk about the financial committees or anything else because there's a lot going on. It'll be all night. So there's a Senate Bill 107 that's talking about providing instruction on substance abuse for like drug prevention, which is pretty cool. House Bill 191, yeah, we already have that. House Bill 191 requires all the teachers to have a minimum salary of $50K, which would be cool with the updated things. And I was also wanting to mention, because this is kind of legislative, that the deadline to file for school board petitions for those who want to run or for those who want to run again is August 6th of this year. So anyone who wants to run out there, be sure to file your petitions with the Board of Elections.
How many openings will there be?
There has been a few people that already filed.
No, how many openings?
How many openings this year? Four. Oh, yeah. Oh, gosh, there's 4. So everybody.
Me.
So you're on your own.
We'll be back fast meetings, folks. I'm telling you. Got this.
So yeah, definitely be sure to put in your, or at least pull your petitions prior than, I think it's 75 signatures for, if I remember, which it's always safe to go a little bit more than that. And then also, Chief Barnett already talked about it a little bit before, but May 6th is May 6th is the election for this. So, go out and vote and be a part of your society and be a part of your group. I would say poll workers, but it's been so long since our last meeting. The poll working thing is kind of, we're running out of time there. So, I mean, if you still want to try, you can. But that's it for my legislative. I was wondering, how do I call for like an alumni meeting or something? If we haven't had a meeting in a long time, do I just like contact whoever and say, hey, let's?
We can post it for you.
Oh, okay. I'm like, I don't know exactly how to like, because we haven't had one in a while. So other than that, that's all I got for committee stuff. So we'll move right along from to comments from the superintendent.
Thank you. First off, I'd like to thank both of our unions for our negotiations. It went very well with both of them, and I appreciate them. Our BPA students are going to Orlando Middle School and High School in May 7th to May 11th, so I wish them well. The chief came and talked about the fire levy renewal, which is, we want to make sure we support them. And today I attended the Franklin D. Walter lunch with Emma Lemons. She was our student who, her teacher of influence was Matt Reynolds, and she's going to school to be a nurse. So very nice lunch with her and her family and Mr. Reynolds and Mr. White today. Okay. That's all I have.
Great. All right. Brian, do you have anything? Any comments?
No further comments this evening.
All right. Easy enough. All right. And we have no comments either from either of our associations. So we move right along to central staff. Jack, you have, well, I guess the mic's all the way down to
There we go.
Devin.
We'll let Devin start. He's down there.
Nice, Jeff.
Yeah. You're welcome. You're welcome.
I wanted to congratulate Brian Coleman again and the many students, and wish them luck as they start their new musical.
You break a leg.
That is right. Break a leg.
Yeah, you just jinxed the whole thing.
Did I?
Yeah, you can't wish them luck.
That's pretty bad.
You have to break a leg.
And thank Morgan Seiler for giving up her time to come and present with the curriculum team. I think it's always good to hear different voices. So good job, Morgan.
All right, moving along. Becca?
In spirit of Autism Awareness Month, I wanted to give another shout out to Casey Hancock. She received an award from our autism assessment team, and does amazing work with kids, and it's well deserved. So congrats, Casey.
So on a different note, it is still testing season, so I've been running completion reports, and I'm happy to report that we are doing a very good job getting our state testing done. Sometimes it can be difficult for students to feel motivated to come to school, especially the upper grades, so they are doing a great job. So each and every day I run a report, and the attendance has been good, and teachers are hanging in there, giving all the state tests, so we're doing a good job so far. We will not wrap up until May 2nd or 3rd, but we are doing very well so far. Just wanted to report on that.
Okay. A couple things. One is I'll start on a building note. 712 first, we'll do that. I don't know if you've been by it, but on the south end, on the building closest to Schnell, on that side of the building, if you'll notice, they've got siding on the outside, the bricks are up, they've got windows in classrooms. They've started painting classrooms. We've got a first coat paint on some of the classrooms. Also the Woodshop Band Orchestra music, they're getting paint on the walls down that end. The gyms are painted, or the varsity gym is painted, not the middle school side yet. They're working their way north or towards Alex Bell Road on that. So, but it's kind of exciting when they start putting paint on the walls. That means they're dried in inside, ceiling grids going on, so that means they can start putting in, all the duct work and the diffusers in the classrooms and start putting lights up. So they're moving pretty well on that. Now it's a huge building. They're hoping to have one part of that building done where they can have it completed, ready to go, close the doors off, and that building will stay unoccupied while they keep working their way down through the other end. So that'll be exciting. Across the way here, we've got everything's painted. We've got final cleaning going on inside. So all the ceiling tiles are in the academic wing. All the lights are on. The casework's in. Furniture, there's truckloads of furniture arriving every day going into the building. So they're moving along well. The gym, cafeteria, and dining area, those will be the last areas to finish, but they got the gym floor down yesterday. They completed it. So they will start here tomorrow. Tomorrow they'll start sanding the gym floor and preparing, once it's sanded, they'll seal it, then they'll start laying it out to stripe it, and then come back and coat it. So, but there's a lot of work still to go. The goal is for us to pass all of our city inspections that are required by May 15th. So you guys will be doing a walkthrough, if I'm not mistaken, on May 16th before the board meeting. So by that time, you should see a pretty close to complete school. What won't be done yet, probably when you guys come through, will be we probably won't have the bleachers completely installed yet. And they'll be still working up on that end of the building, but overall, that building should be pretty close to complete. If you drive by it now, you'll notice we've got grass seed and straw down. There's trees planted. There's mulch around the building. All the sidewalks are going in. There'll be asphalting here in another week. Start putting down the final parking lot. And so it's a lot going on all at once. I want to recognize Sheila Kemper, 46 continuous years, and she's retiring this year after 46 years. It's kind of exciting. When I found out, when I was first hired here, she was a bus aide, and I was in charge of transportation back then. And I thought it was funny when I told her, I said, hey, you started working here the same year I graduated high school. Which is still true. But she is an awesome lady. They have a great family. She's a neighbor, and I'm excited for her to retire. Her husband's already retired this year, earlier in the year, so that'll be good for both of them to have that time together. I can't wait to see the musical. I'm excited for that. So my tickets, I've got them for Friday night. So looking forward to that. And then the fire levy, I support our local fire and EMS. Anytime that I can do a renewal, I think it's a great thing for the community. They do a lot for us. And more so than just running fire and emergency calls, they do a lot for the community in general, coming out to events, helping out. If you need a hand with anything, you can typically call the fire department, and they provide the manpower or the volunteers to come out and help with events. So it's great to have that.
All right, we have no comments from the public, so we're gonna be moving right along. Board members, I'll start with you.
I also want to say with the fire levy, it's so important to support that, and they do support our community, our schools. It's a program I all want to support. I also want to say a shout out to the musical kids. They did a great job performing, and a shout out to our teachers, because I know this is a stressful time of year for them. So.
Thank you.
I'm going to ask now that next April, when I'm not sitting here, that somebody text me and let me know when the musical's going to. I'm going to come back and at least watch that. That is one of my favorite parts about sitting here.
Check the website.
During the year.
Check the website.
I do have. I want to mention two things about Pirate Packs, and one of them, it was a bit of an issue for us with all the water that everybody saw fall in the past week. There was some flooding in the rain in the Payne Rec Center parking lot in the back of where our building is located, and it blocked our ability to use it for over a week. And I want to throw a couple of thank yous to Jack and his team who helped us to have to navigate a different way to have the food packs picked up so they can be delivered on time. And also to the staff at Payne Rec Center, which is the location where we have our building, and also the Marine Civic Center, which is where operations had to be temporarily moved to accommodate packing. So I really appreciate all the help we got from those different organizations and volunteers who came and helped us get through last week. In addition to that, though, and I know for a lot of folks in here that really appreciate the food assistance that these kids get, this is some really just unbelievable news I'm about to share. There's a Joe Cox who used to sit here as well, and is one of our board members with Pirate Packs. He was just randomly about a month ago, maybe 6 weeks ago, he was listening to a commercial on television, and a grant opportunity that AES puts together every year was promoted in a commercial. And so he takes the initiative to apply for it. And in about a week and a half ago, at an Arby's, I don't know which location, I don't remember, but AES and Arby's have a collaboration where they award grants to 10 different charity-like organizations. So we were going to have a chance to be one of 10 to receive a $10,000 grant. So 2 weeks ago, or right before this event was going to happen, Joe received the invitation to attend this event, which meant we at least had a shot at it if we're going to be asked to be there. And so the event happened. I think this was in the paper, so some of you may have seen this, but not only did we receive the grant, so that was awesome in the first place, but one of the Arby's executives, I guess, was when he was younger, his family had some food shortage issues themselves, and they doubled our grant to $20,000. So for the first time since probably certainly pre-COVID, we are funded before the school year even starts. And that's just an amazing thing, and I just want to certainly appreciate that grant opportunity. And Joe just happened to check it out, or we wouldn't have been in the picture to have that happen. So just want to thank him publicly as well, and I know he loves what we do, and it's a big passion for him. That's the whole reason that he reached in. There's also some other news we'll share later about it, but I just wanted to publicly say how appreciative we are with AES folks and Arby's for $20,000 that we didn't even 2 months ago even on the radar. So, and that more than helps us for the next school year to be able to not even have to worry about money, which is a rare thing for a charity to be able to say that. But and not that it'll last forever, but we certainly are appreciative for now to be able to say that. And I know Ms. Sherman, when you were the principal at Chanel, it was a big thing. Certainly like to see kids not have what they need, and this just really helps us make sure that don't happen.
Yeah,
No matter next year.
You don't have to worry. Everybody can get the need.
Yeah. All right, that's all I have.
Thank you, Sean.
Well, I am thrilled that our negotiations went smoothly with both unions. We value all of our employees very much here, and it's nice to have the collaboration between us. I know so many other school districts do not have that ability, and I'm so glad that we continue to do that. Congratulations to the BPA students, and good luck in Orlando. I'm sure you'll do great down there as well, and break a leg for that musical next weekend. They did a fantastic job tonight, and I'm sure it will be a wonderful performance. Mr. Coleman never stopped short of a wonderful, well, he has put on so many musicals that have come from New York and all this. And so this one will be no different than all the rest of them. So do enjoy and go out and support the kids. That's all I have. Thank you.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna go really quick because almost everything on my list, everyone else has already said. I don't see the need to redo it, but I wanna let you know I was paying attention. Mean Girls, I had it on there. Casey Hancock had it on here. Vote for the Firefighters had it on here. Wanna let you know that if you say south, I'll figure out which way's north. So as long as you give me one, I got the second one, alright? And then the only other thing is that, and this is probably not gonna be aired beforehand, but hey, for all of you in this room, if you're interested in coming to the Easter celebration, we are having that on this Saturday. Bring your mud shoes because it's gonna be a muddy, soppy mess. It's gonna be awesome. Loving it, although it was 91% chance of rain on Saturday, and now we're down to 75. Whoop, whoop, can't wait. But if you have children or grandchildren, it will be a wonderful time to get muddy candy. That's all I have.
All right. Well, that's the toughest thing about being the last person to speak is everything else has already been said.
That's what I said.
So
I proved, I have it written.
pretty much ditto to everything.
Right, yeah,
Ditto.
Yeah.
With the Easter celebration, I wanted to say it is Saturday the 19th, and like you said, I don't think it's really for you guys in this room, if you guys want to join. And hopefully the rain is after 2 p.m. If it's before 2 p.m., it's going to be nice, dry candy, and the kids will love it. But either way, we'll be out there. Rain or shine, we're there for the kids. There's a few other events I was going to say. Neighborhood bridges. I have a QR code on my phone. If anyone wants to be a part of Neighborhood Bridges, I can give you guys that code so you guys can be a part of it. And it's also on the website. Yeah. So Nicole has been just incredible with being a part of that, and really fighting for kids that just don't have things and missing everything from a washing machine to shoes. Neighborhood Bridges really bridges it together. So. If that's something that anyone's interested in, you can let me know and I will get you connected. I was also wanting to say the Pirate Island Fest. I know it's a long ways away, but September 13th, 2025. So for our coaches out there, get involved. For our community out here, be involved. Come and support our kids, be a part of the events, because all that money goes to helping our kids and to helping our sports and everything else, which is great. I also wanted to thank the staff for a great audit. I know you mentioned how it takes everyone, and I was going to say that too. How audits are pretty they're serious stuff. So for everyone to kind of come together and to make that work, it's just incredible. So other than that, I have a really short quote because I know we're a little late on time here. It's by, and I'm going to say it's Lao Tzu, T-Z-U, and he says, "He who does not trust enough will not be trusted." which is a good way to end that. And then, yeah, we have a work session. So we'll be going into a work session relating to board business, and then after the work session, we'll no other business. So